Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you all the way from Germany, Vahlbruch Effects is the BBQ and BBQ XL. So what are these? Well, they're buffers, they're boosters, and they're also EQs. The BBQ XL essentially is two BBQs in one. So you've got a 3-band EQ there with treble, middle, and bass, and a volume control on each side of the pedal, and you can set them up to do different things if you want to in this box. So more on this one in a little bit. Most of the focus on this video will be on this one because you can just consider that essentially that pedal is like two of these in one. So let's start off with the buffer part of this pedal. A high quality buffer, as most guitar players know these days, is kind of essential, I think, if you've got, any more than just a few pedals on a pedal board, and if you're running any more than, say, 25 or 30 feet of cable, for sure. You're going to notice a tonal degradation and high-end loss and some signal loss if all your pedals are true bypass. So the goal of a good buffer is to restore that high end, keep that signal nice and strong, push that signal all the way through all your pedals and all the cable that's going all the way from your guitar all the way back to the amplifier. So yes, these guys have a high quality buffer in them that works whether or not the pedal is switched in or out. But it's defeatable. So if you're a true bypass nut and you don't necessarily like buffers, maybe you like the sound of that high-end loss, or if you've got fuzzes or univibes or pedals that don't respond well sometimes to buffers on your pedal board, you can actually defeat the buffer. You just got to get in the back of the pedal, take the plate off there, and there's some dip switches back there, and you can put it in true bypass mode. I'm betting though a lot of players are probably going to leave the buffer on. That's the way the pedal ships, and it sounds great. Now the booster portion of these pedals, you've got a volume control, and essentially unity gain is about 10 o'clock on the pedal, and anywhere from there on up you're going to get a boost. But anywhere below 10 o'clock you actually get a volume cut. Why would you want to do that? Well, it's really useful if you maybe have an amplifier and you like the sound of it crunchy, but you'd like to clean it up a little bit for some sounds. You can actually turn down that volume control, back it all the way down to maybe all the way off, and you're going to get a volume reduction actually when you turn on the pedal, and that can be great for kind of getting a quasi like clean sound. Let's say you got an old Fender or Marshall that you love the sound cranked up, but you wish you could get clean for some cleaner passages, or cleaner for some passages or some parts. This can do that. So more on that in a little bit. I'll demonstrate it and show you that it's actually really cool. Most players are probably going to boost with the pedal though, because we always like more, right? We're guitar players. So turning it up anywhere past kind of 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, up past noon, you get a steady increase in boost, increase in volume, then it'll kick the front end of your amplifier and start driving it into overdrive. And you heard me doing that on the song at the beginning of the video where I was boosting into the front of the amp and kind of switching the pedal on and off to show you the effect of kicking the front end of the amp and kind of waking it up a little bit. If you run your amp on the edge of breakup and then you turn up that boost control, you're going to get overdrive. It's going to drive the front end of your amp into more saturation. But it's not like using an overdrive pedal. It's a different sound really, and usually it's more akin to kind of like if you just turned your amplifier up and got more out of the actual amplifier. It usually sounds more real than most overdrive pedals, using a good boost to kick the front of the amp. Now with the EQ, you got tons of options there to shape your tone, and what I like to do a lot of times with a pedal like this is boost up the mids, usually cut the bass a little bit, and either add some treble or maybe warm up the sound a little bit depending on what I'm going for. But the key is that mid boost. It's really nice to kick the front end of a tube amp with both volume, with level, and then also some mid-range, and it kind of just makes the amp scream a little more. And then by dropping the bass a little, you can also keep the sound relatively tight. So I was doing that a lot on that track at the beginning of the video. So let's get on with it. It is the BBQ and BBQ XL from Vahlbruch. So one of the things you can do with the BBQ is buffer your signal, even when the unit's bypassed. It's got a switchable buffer in it. So with these little dip switches, I've taken the back panel off the pedal. These little dip switches here, you can select either true bypass or a buffered bypass signal. I'm running about a 10-foot cable from my guitar to the pedal, and then there's probably 25 feet of cable coming after that. Probably not dissimilar to what a lot of people use if you've got a pedal board with, say, 8 pedals on it or something, and then you're running a 20-foot cable all the way to your amp. So this is the sound unbuffered. When I turn on the pedal with all the controls at noon, you're going to hear sort of a unity gain or close to unity gain signal, and the pedal is then going to be buffering once it's active. Okay, so now let's go in the back and switch buffered bypass mode in, and you're going to hear the difference that that makes to the bypass signal as well. So you can hear now the sound is very similar with the controls set the way I've got them. You're maybe just getting a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a boost when I turn the pedal on, but all that high end remains intact in the signal when I've got buffered bypass mode on. And that to me is, you know, a great use for this pedal. Buffering, making sure your signal's staying strong all the way through, that it's nice and pure, and you can drive lots of cable length with this pedal. So I would leave it in buffered bypass mode. You can see the LED stays on in buffered bypass mode, and then this LED here above the switch comes on and off to signify whether the pedal boost and EQ features are active. One other really cool use for this pedal could be in an effect loop of an amplifier. You can put it in the effect loop, it'll help buffer the signal, because not all effects loops are created equal. So if you feel like you lose tone a little bit when you patch effects in the loop of your amp, something like this can really help. The EQ will shape the tone post-preamp of your amplifier, so be careful with it because it can get pretty radical, but it's nice if you want to fine-tune your tone a little bit. And then the volume control essentially becomes like a master volume. So this is my old 335, and I adore this guitar, but one thing about this guitar is that I've never really dug the neck pickup for cleaner tones because it's quite dark sounding. It's just a little like on the muted dark side of things. And a great thing that you can do with a pedal like this is tweak that and actually change the character of your pickups. So it can almost make it sound like you got a different pickup in your guitar. So I'm going to set all the controls here at noon, and then I'm going to attempt to kind of clean up and clarify the sound of the neck pickup on my guitar. So here's the bridge pickup. And the middle position setting is cool too. I like it. But when I go to the neck, I've never found it all that inspiring, especially when it's cleaner. It can sound cool with higher gain tones because the darkness just lends itself to that. But anyways, let's try and fine tune the tone using this pedal. I'll try and get a little bit more clarity out of the neck pickup. So I don't necessarily want more volume, so I'm going to bring the volume back to where I kind of hear it as unity, or maybe even a little less. Okay, and now I'm going to add some top end. That's getting better already. Let's add just a touch of mids. That's pretty cool. And maybe even take it out a little bit of bass. That's a pretty massive improvement, I would say. So with boosting the mids, cutting the highs a little, leaving the bass about, center, or you can cut it a little bit if you want to, and I've got the healthy amount of gain boost going on there with the volume control up 3/4 the way up. Now I'm kicking the front end of my amp and saturating it and getting all the sustain that I need. So another great use for the XL version of the pedal is to actually turn a one-channel crunchy amp into kind of a three-channel affair. And what do I mean by that? Well, right now I've got kind of a Marshall-y crunch sound dialed up on my PT15 there. This is a kind of good middle-of-the-road sound. And on the left side of the pedal, what I'm doing is actually I've got the volume control all the way off. So you're actually going to get a volume reduction when you turn the pedal on. If you go below 10 o'clock, it's actually going to cut volume on the volume knob. I'm also boosting treble just a little and cutting bass a little. So check it out when I go to the split coil position on my guitar and then turn the pedal on. So I can get like almost basically a clean sound going with this setting on the left side of the pedal. Now on the right side of the pedal, I got the volume boosted up 3/4 the way up, got the mids boosted 3/4 the way up. I'm cutting bass just a hair. Check out what happens when I turn it on and go to the bridge pickup. So there you go, you can turn a one-channel amp into 3 channels. Thanks for watching my video on the BBQ and BBQ XL clean boost, buffer, and EQ pedals from Vahlbruch Effects, coming to you all the way from Germany. They are high-quality boosters, EQs, and also buffers. You can check them out further at the link you see there in the video description below. Please click there. They sound really good. These are great tools, awesome for shaping your tone, awesome for kicking the front end of your old tube amps into overdrive, or maybe even cleaning up your amps. And I really like the way I was able to actually transform the sound of my 335's dark neck pickup into something that was more clear and more usable. Please hit subscribe if you haven't hit the little bell beside the subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, why not? Come back and see me for more videos soon. I am Pete Thorne. Take care, you guys. Over now.